We know you have a lot of questions about the Jodi Arias trial. Keep them coming. We've got Holly Hughes here to help us answer some of those questions. All right, Holly, here's the first one. This is from Janet. She's asking on Facebook. The autopsy of Travis showed defensive wounds, so that means Jodi was on the offense. How can she claim self-defense? She has no defensive wounds. Now, point of clarification here, she did have some cuts on her hands.
Right.
She told Ryan Burns, hey, I got these working in a restaurant. She had some bandages on. But talk about the self-defense part if Travis seems to have those defensive wounds.
Well, we don't know, and we'll never know in what order those wounds were inflicted. So if she started out having to defend herself, but at some point he started to get the better of her, then he might have, or she started to get the better of him, the tide turned, so to speak, then you might see those, those self-defense wounds where he's trying to defend himself, like, no, don't stab me, and the nicks in here. But we don't know what order they occurred in. So she, her version ostensibly could be true. I mean, we've got to take the physical evidence in conjunction with everything else we know. And we know she's an admitted liar. So you need to consider that when you start to weigh that physical evidence. In what order did those wounds occur?
I think a lot of questions focus on that she is a liar in this case. Elizabeth asks on Facebook, is Arizona a state where overkill, meaning escalation, cannot be used as self-defense? So if someone attacks you with fists, you cannot use a knife or a gun to that.
Well, what you have to do is basically you're talking about equal force, but that doesn't mean equal weapons, all right? If Bruce Lee is beating me up, okay, his fists are deadly weapons. I might need to break out a gun or a knife to defend myself against Bruce Lee. That's what we call deadly force. If someone is using deadly force against you, you are always justified in using deadly force against them. But if someone comes up and, like, gives you a little shove like that, you can't whip out your gun and blow them away. That is not equal force. They're not using deadly force against you. You cannot use deadly force against them. So when we get into what happened here, what she's claiming is, well, I don't remember what happened after the gun went off. So is she thinking the jury is going to say, well, Travis picked up the knife and then she wrestled it away from him, and so that's going back and forth?
Yeah.
We never know what happened in that fog.
Right.
And that's what she's hoping the jury.
Explain.
That's
And the
exactly
jury has a
right.
lot of work to do.
Absolutely.
Holly, thank you so
Yeah,
much. Appreciate
sure.
it. Folks, again, keep the questions coming. Send them to our Facebook page or at Susan Hendricks or at Ryan Smith TV.